What you need to know about coronavirus on Friday, April 3rd. A version of this story appeared in the April 3 edition of CNN's Coronavirus Fact vs. Fiction newsletter. Sign up here to receive the need-to-know headlines every weekday. As global cases cross the 1 million mark and an international battle to procure life-saving equipment mounts, President Donald Trump has invoked a Korean war-era law to force the production of ventilators, N95 masks and other vital supplies. In the absence of federal intervention or national coordination, states have been left to scramble for resources needed to fight the virus solo. One remarkable mission emerged yesterday. Massachusetts turned to the New England Patriots for help with the delivery of masks from China. As the U.S. grapples with how to contain a virus that has infected 250,000 Americans, the CDC is expected to urge all citizens to wear cloth masks in public, despite Trump saying such a move would not be mandatory. While the rest of the world digs in on lockdown measures, China is cautiously opening back up. Next week, for the first time in 2 months, people will be allowed to leave Wuhan, ground zero of the pandemic. But as China appears to be turning a page on the virus, questions are being raised about whether its recovery can be trusted. You asked. We answered Q. Are scarves actually better than masks, as Trump has said? A. Trump's claim that scarves can work better than masks is not supported by the CDC's guidance to health workers. While scarves may offer some protection, the CDC describes homemade options, like scarves and bandanas, as a possible last resort if masks are not available. More than 50,000 people have asked us questions about the outbreak. Send yours here. Are you a healthcare worker fighting COVID-19? Message us on WhatsApp about the challenges you're facing. +1 34732204415. What's important today? Stay at home with more than 6,000 deaths and counting. America's top coronavirus expert is urging U.S.-wide stay-at-home orders. Florida was the latest to do so. In the worst affected state, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says hospital beds aren't an issue, but ventilators are. Cuomo warned that the state stockpile could be spent in just 6 days if the infection rate holds. It's like a slow-moving hurricane. Navy ship commander fired. The commander of a virus-stricken U.S. aircraft carrier has been relieved of his duties for showing poor judgment days after writing a memo warning that decisive action was needed to save the lives of the ship's crew. Economic toll mounts. The American economy lost more jobs than it gained for the first time in a decade. The March unemployment report, which showed the economy shed 701,000 jobs, marks the beginning of the post-outbreak U.S. labor market. But, a day after unemployment claims in America jumped to an unthinkable 10 million in just 2 weeks, it won't be able to tell us just how bad things are likely to get. Stock markets are mixed after crude oil surged yesterday to a record 25% on hopes, sparked by Trump, for a truce in the global price war. Zooming. As video conference app Zoom explodes in popularity, federal officials are now warning of a new potential privacy and security concern called Zooming. What is Zooming, you ask? The term refers to trolls hijacking calls to harass participants. Zoom's founder and CEO has apologized for the issue. Pandemic propaganda. Former State Department officials were mystified and bemused by the U.S. purchase of medical supplies from Russia, a move that experts say is a propaganda win for Vladimir Putin. But at a moment where coronavirus cases are ramping up inside Russia, the perceived PR stunt has not gone over well at home, Nathan Hodge writes. True isolation as deaths in Spain top 10,000, one hilltop town which cut itself off from the world, has managed to remain untouched by the virus, Tim Lister and Claudia Rebaza write. On our radar. How can photographers capture human connection in the age of coronavirus? These images may have the answer, Fiona Sinclair Scott writes. Global lockdowns have seemingly made the world much quieter. Seismologists are noticing it, too. If you, like many others stuck at home, have been finding a welcome escape in Netflix's latest docu-series Tiger King, you might be wondering why those sequined leopard print blouses are so mesmerizing. We have the answer. Some corners of the internet claim the 2011 American thriller Contagion predicted COVID-19. Here's how the movie stands up to reality. Players from one of Australia's most popular pro sports team could be quarantined on a luxury island in an audacious plan to get them back on the field and back on TV. Top tips. Filing for U.S. unemployment benefits? Read this first. If you've been thinking about quitting smoking, there's no time like the present pandemic. Here's why. Wondering if a loss of smell or taste is an early sign that you have coronavirus? Try this jelly bean test. Today's podcast, our species is capable of doing amazing things. We can put people on the moon. People live in space for a year. We can beat this, I am convinced. Retired astronaut Scott Kelly. After spending a year in space, Scott Kelly is an expert on managing extreme isolation. The retired astronaut shares valuable advice with CNN chief medical correspondent Drive Sanjay Gupta on how to cope with social separation here on Earth. Listen now. And tune in to hear to Gupta answer more of your questions. Click subscribe to receive the latest news.